G'day everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello, welcome here. I am starting a new project. The insanity is real because I have an idea in my head and we will see if it transpires as we go through. But what I'm going to be working with is the new collection by Stamperia. As soon as I saw it, it had to be mine. Did I spend a lot of money on it? Yes, I did. So I pre-ordered it and it's finally arrived in my little hands, and we are going to, well, I am going to, but hopefully you will come along for the ride, you know, the ocean ride. We're going to make one of those kind of projects where it's just going to be a little bit extra. So what have I got? I have the 8x8 in the design papers as well as the background selections. So I've got one each of them, so all of them are there. So that's that. I have one each of the same in the 12x12s. Now I do have a spare of the design papers in 12x12s, but that's like last resort, because here in Australia, this stuff, I'm sure it's expensive everywhere, but in Australia, this stuff expensive. So I'm gonna try and, you know, make it work. All right, so I've got those, and I also have excuse me, the die cuts. Now there was two different types. One was more the mermaidy, oceany ones, and one was more the steampunky stuff. So I have them. And these are like chipboardy kind of things. They're not like paper. They're full on, which is good because we're going to go a bit 3D eventually. I also have the collectibles. So we've got the collectibles. I haven't gone into this as yet. May we as we go through, if I'm after a specific thing, like, you know, spigot and whatever, or anchor and stuff. Yes, it is here if we need it. So that is there. And then in my, because I've already kind of started to get prepped, so I'm going to show you kind of things I have in my little collection of goodies. So when I start a project, I go through and I collect things from different places in the I may use them kind of thing. And then they're there to remind myself that they exist in amongst all of the ridiculous things that is in my craft room, my art room. So I put together a little project kit to work from. It's not the only thing I pull from, and nor will I probably use all of it, but it's there, you know, in case I need inspiration or something as we go along, because I come in with a little bit of an idea but not much. So I've already gone through. I also have the adhesive paper cutout ephemera. Oh my gosh, big words. Now these guys are these are more your traditional kind of ephemera. They do have a sticky back apparently. I've never used them before, so me getting the sticker off is going to always be interesting. But yep, so apparently they've got a sticky back, and they're a little bit shimmery. I don't know if anyone's ever used them before, but they've got a little bit of a sheen to them, which is kind of nice. So I've done that. I've cut out all, well, not all of them, but a fair chunk of the cut apart, so the tags and stuff, and I've done the I've cut out from the back of the paper pad all of their bits, got that in there, and then I have more of them here kind of half ready to go. Haven't cut these out because I don't know whether I'll use them all, but if I do, if not, I've got some extra paper. So they're all kind of half cut out, ready to go, and that's the plan for the main component of the papers. And here's me trying to put it back in. Okay, la-di-da-di-da, me trying to put papers back in, putting these back around the other way because that's the way I'm going to use them. Alright, so that's there. They're in. These back around the other way. They're in. Okay, so we got that. That's the main things. I've got in here some acetate Again, like I said, I just go through things and I grab stuff that I may use, I may not. So I've got some of that there as well. These are all just the leftover bits and the border bits and stuff of the things when I've been cutting it apart. So I've got them so far. So I'm just going to show you a bit of what we're doing. I have decided that I'm going to be using black as my base. Okay, so that's my base cardstock. But then I've gone through and I've pulled out some colours. So let me get another piece of paper out. Okay, let me get a piece of the pattern paper out. So I've gone through the colours and kind of figured out what might I use as solid cardstock to work with it. Okay, so I've got some of the kind of, you know, rust orange, some of the light turquoise, some shimmery purple, because there's purple in amongst the mermaid and her hair, and throughout there's highlights, some deep turquoise, and then some navy. So they're the kind of coloured cardstocks that I've got out. And then I go, well, let's just get everything out. I've got a little bit of like kind of sand beigey coloured paper that's got a little bit of a pattern that always reminds me of, like, you know, sand ripples, wave ripples. So I've got that. And then I've got some accent things. So I've got some brushed gold, some glitter stock, so glitter cardstock, so some more of the different types of the brushed gold. I've got some gold glitter. And then I've got some blue glitter. So these, you know, obviously all of those kind of ocean kind of colours that work in with the colours that are on the paper. So you'll have to, with the glaring light, with the metallic. So that's the next part of what I do. You'd think it ends there, but it really doesn't. Then I go through and then raid my stash and start thinking about other things that I might have. So this is where I've got the die cuts, and in here I've got a little bit of vine, you know, that might end up seaweedy at some point. So I've got that. Then we go into some extra papers that I've pulled from my stash. So I've got this kind of, like, it's cut out, and it obviously is rope net. So it come from Kaiser Craft Coastal Escape Collection Woven. Okay, so I've got that. I've got a bit of acetate here. Most of it's no good, but that, you know, obviously with our compass, it's around the right way, it probably helps. This is the Mountain Air Collection. I've got a gear. I've got these, which were obviously like scrapbooking things. Again from Kaiser, Rock Tool Collection. I don't know, might use that at some point, who knows. And then these are some Kaiser Craft papers that I've just gone in, may use. And again, this is just in case I need to stretch. I don't even know where we're going with it. Who knows what will end up happening. But these are all papers from the Uncharted Waters collection. So I've got them. And then I've also got the nautical paper pad from Kaiser Craft. So they're just there, as I said, they're always just there as a just in case kind of buy. Then we go on to other things. Alright, then we come up to this stuff. So I've got some blingy things, so I've got some golds and some pearls and, you know, your little dots, enamel dots and water droplets. A whole lot of different kind of glittery washi. I rarely use this stuff, so this is probably an excuse to it. And it's going to be, for me, is going to be trying to find the balance with the fact that this isn't my natural go-to, all of that kind of stuff. I want it grungy, and then, you know, keeping, kind of find that balance. I've got one of the molds, I'll probably use that. Some corner rounders, I've got some embossing folders, you know, different kind of ones that might look thing. I've got some different types of brads that might get used. And then I've got some die cuts, some Sizzix ones and some other random ones that I might use at some point. And some stencils. I've got one of the Stamperia stencils, I think, which is the Mermaid Song one. So I've got that one, and then a few others. One that's got bubbles and one that's kind of wavy. I don't know. This is what I do. I just grab it and I put it in, and I'll probably use like maybe 1-2 things out of this, but it's there And it reminds me what I have in my collection as I'm going. I've pulled out some different kind of woven beachy kind of fabrics. So we've got some different kinds of burlap. So I've got this stuff here. So this one is just straight kind of burlap. These are adhesive burlap, so they just go straight back down. They're adhesive back. And then what else have we got here? A whole lot of mixed metery stuff. So I've just got some different fabrics, some bandage, some strapping tape, some more kind of like, you know, meshy burlappy stuff, more meshy burlappy stuff, more ribbons, leather, you know, this stuff, you know what I'm talking about, that stuff. So I've kind of got all of that. Yep. And I think that's probably close to everything I've pulled apart for this idea going in my head. I'm going to pause now and I'm going to just put all of this back and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build the base pages. That's the start. I have, like I said, I've got some ideas of where we might go with this, but if I at least build the pages, then it may come. In the words of you know, well, it's not really Kevin Costner, but you know where I'm getting at. If I build it, it may come. So we're going to do that. So I've got two. I'm going to make another one. So I'm going to make 3 pages, and we will see where we go, how we're going with papers and all at the end of that, about whether we do a 4th, how fat it's getting, all of that kind of stuff. And I know that with what's in my mind, I don't need too many design papers or papers left for decoration on the outside. That's going to be more mixed media-y and all of that kind of stuff, and paint and so forth. So I've got to keep that in mind too, that I don't need to keep it all and in the backup kind of thing. My problem is actually cutting into the paper. That first cut is the deepest. It's bad doing the first cut. Luckily I've already kind of half cut into it because I've cut parts, but you know, the first actual cut. Scary. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to make these pages. So the pages themselves, the pages that we're going to work from are 8 1/4 by 10 1/4. Now I've kind of designed it that way so that we can make use of the fact that I've got there's 8 by 8 papers. And now the reality is when someone does a thing like this, and I know when I'm watching other people's tutorials and stuff like that, I'm rarely going to use the same paper. It's usually about the concept of how they put it together, what they're thinking, all of that kind of stuff, because most of the time I don't have the same paper as them. You know, some papers that are easier to find in other parts of the world are super expensive here, so forth, you know what I mean? So it's that kind of stuff. And yeah, and also styles. Just because I like a particular style doesn't, or I gravitate towards a particular style, doesn't mean everyone else is. Alright, so I'm going to show you how the base page was done. I've kind of half cut it and made it, but I'll pretend with you with the scoring just to show you what we've got. Alright, so my first one is 8 1/4 by 11 1/2. Now, theoretically, if you only have 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock, you could just adapt the sizes here. You could probably not have 3/4 here. I've just left 3/4 here as my kind of hinge mechanism, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'd rather have too much than not enough, if that makes sense. So you could probably lose 1/4 there. And the same thing here, I've got half here that I would like to use for kind of movement in the pages, and then that makes my base 10 1/4. You could make it 10, whatever you wanted it to be. Make it fit for the cardstock that you've got. So what I've done is I've scored at 3/4 and I've scored at 1 1/4. So I've got 3/4 and 1/2, and this leaves this at 10 1/4. Now on the base I've used 350 GSM cardstock. I don't know what that is. The paper doesn't have the conversion for me in pounds, but it's thick, the thicker stuff. Okay. For the flippy floppy bits, I'm going to use lighter stuff, like the 65 pound, 176 or whatever, 200 GSM, something along those lines, cardstock. But this stuff is a bit thicker because it's going to bear most of the weight. So I've used a bit of the thicker stuff. So I've got that. And then I have another piece, which is 8 1/4 by 11 3/4. And I have scored at 11 3/16. Oh my gosh, I better bring that up with my really bad writing. So it's 3/16. Now, to be honest, you could kind of take it a little bit closer to 1/4. It's just about having a little bit of a gap when we put it together for the the bit extra of the spiny bit to work. So I've gone and I've scored that at half on one side, and it's just around the wrong way, so it's not wanting to do it. And then spin it around and score it half on the other side. So that's the extent of the scoring for these pages. Now I put the scoreboard away. I bring these back. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to notch out little bits on the side. Okay. I'm just going to notch out. Just makes it kind of come to lay in a little bit better. There. I have burnished down those score folds. So I have gone along and taken my bone folder and really push this down, especially because it's thick cardstock. You really need to train it, and it's going against the grain with this one. So this cardstock's grains this way, so it likes that. It doesn't particularly like this, so it's a little bit more resistant to it. And I've done the same here, where I've just gone back and forward with these score marks. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add this on top. Okay, and we're going to make a little bit of a pocket. So I'm using a mixture of tape and glue. Tape just because it gets it down quick, and glue because it's permanent. I live in hot, humid. Tape on its own is never going to guarantee it's going to stay. Anything I've ever used tape on its own for, especially longevity wise, if it's got to bear any weight or anything like that, just will not hold up in our climate. So it's alright to stick down for a card or something like that, but I just don't trust it for long-term use. That's just a me thing. It's not necessarily a true thing, it's just a me thing. I was only going to do one. Hold on, I'm going to put that one back on for now. And I'm going to see, this is what it happens. I get talking to you and I don't think about what I'm doing. I only want a little bit on here, showing for now. And then, oh no, take this off. I don't know what I'm doing. If you hadn't guessed, me on camera, it's like I suddenly become completely useless in my ability, which is not far from like the truth, but it just gets worse. Alright, so I think I'm going to line it up with this side because this is where I really want it to meet the edge. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to make sure it meets the edge nicely here. Excellent. Finish that on. Nice. Alright, so now it's all good to go, and I can bring this one over. Now you'll see here that there is that little bit of a gap there, that little 1/16 of a gap. Now it could be less, and in my others it is less, but for calculation wise I just made it a 1/16. It really, you know, in the long scheme of the things, it's not going to really matter, but that's kind of what I've done. Alright, so I'm going to add some glue along here. And then also across the bottom. Okay, and close this up. You could put a hinge here, but I don't. I'm only going to put probably one thing in here. I don't really need the... I've got the gussets there. The bottom isn't as important. So I was like, yeah, I'm not putting a hinge on just for that. Okay. Let's close this up. Push this down. Turn it over. Push it down as well. Make sure it's nice and flat. And we're gonna good to go with our pages. So we've got our base pages put together. So there's 3 of them. And now I'm going to put them away so that you never see them again. No, not quite. They're going to get put away because we're going to be working on, sorry, I'm just making sure the glue's well adhered down the base here. I'm going to put them away because we're going to work on build from a base page. A baser base page than that, if that makes any sense. Probably not. Okay. What did I mean by a base page? We're going to work from this. Okay, so I'm going to build up. This is on the lighter cardstock, so it's not going to add all that much extra bulk, but it allows me to build from this because I don't actually know what I'm doing. So if I decide I need to build it up higher, I can go from the side and go in underneath with hinges and things like that, so that I've got a little bit more flexibility. So I've just cut myself some 8 1/4 by 10 3/16 pieces, which will fit nicely on those pocket pages. Oh, you know, words. So that is what I'm going to be working with. So as we do each page, this is going to be where I start, and at the end work out the order of, you know, how they're going to go into the album and all of that kind of stuff. And hopefully something works. One can always hope with that. Okay. Do I know what I'm doing? No, this is as far as I've got. I did forget. I am going to. So you know the important stuff. I ink. So I'm going to be using frayed burlap. I like frayed burlap. I'll show you why. All right, where are you, frayed? Frayed burlap. I'm just finding my my swatch of it, and of course I can't, and it's behind the microphone, so I'm trying to be like really gentle, but it's not working. Alright, so frayed burlap. Okay, the reason why I like this is that it has some greys and some purples and things in it, which I think, and like it's got sandy colours, and I think it works with the whole kind of vibe. So that's why I chose frayed burlap. That's specifically the reason why I went with that one. So, but any ink, you do you, or no ink, all up to you. So that's that one. And then I did forget to show you this, so let's see if I can get it out without dropping it all off the little stand. I got a little stand of mixed media stuff here. So I've got the halo paste that Stamperia's come out with. Thought I'd try that. I've got a whole bunch of little liquid pearls. I've got some shimmer sprays, both from Kaiser Craft. So I've got some of their shimmer sprays, and I've got some of the Distress mica stains. So yeah, so I've got those guys there too. And I've got Vintage Photo and all the other inks if I decide I want to add to it. Again, it's we'll see what happens. We'll just kind of hope that now that I've started talking to you, my mind will start building. Are you waiting too? Me too. Alright, I'm going to go get myself ready so that we can actually start construction, and then we'll start building on this page. It'll be like a second for you, probably a little bit longer for me. Okay, so I'm back. I've got some stuff, and as I said, we go big or we go home. So I'm like, I had an idea. Let's see if we can translate that into something that doesn't make me cry over using, you know, a piece of paper that costs like my firstborn child. Okay, so alrighty, we're going to start off this piece of paper. Okay, 12 by 12. Now, we need it to be, we're going to be doing the full length, so it's going to be 8 1/4. So this needs to be 8. And I obviously want the, what's this called? Porthole. Words. To be the main thing. So it means that I've got to come in 1 1/4 from the edge. Now usually I use my Friscar's trimmer. I'll see how I go with this one. If I hate it, then we may end up changing. Does that make sense? But this means that I can do it on screen with you. My Friscar's is a lot more cumbersome, but I like it. And I'll probably still do my cardstock and stuff on that because it'll just work better. Okay. Can I do it? Make the cut, Tammy. Make the cut. Okay, we're going. Alright. Hate this. Like, I don't know about you guys, but this is always the hardest one. Have I got 1 1/4? I'm just like checking 5,000 times over now. Yep, that is the 1 1/4. Alright. Okay. Let's go. I did it. I made a cut. Okay. Now, we're going to go to 8. 8. Okay. You can do it. Did it. Okay. It's kind of like childbirth. Lamar's. Do it, do it. Okay. Now, it's going to be, what? 10. I was trying to think, what do I need it across? 10. So I need to come in 1 inch from either side, yeah? That would be the smart one, Tammy. So 1 inch from either side. Okay. One. And I already got ideas how I might use this stuff, yeah. 2. Alright. Oakley dokley. So I've made the cut. There we go. We're left with that. Now I need to think about my cardstock. Alright. Luckily enough, what we need for cardstock, you know, obviously we don't have to cut, we've only got to take from the thingy jiggy sides. I'm going to make a accordion expandable pocket thing. Okay, so put this out of the way, see if I can work out what I need to do. See if I got enough on this for, I know I'm going to have to add 1 hinge, but let's see if I've got enough at least on this. So it's going to be 10 3/16. So if I go there, that's 10 1/4. So I've just moved it slightly out from the edge there. So 10 1/4, and then a half, and another half. Yay, I've got enough. Excellent for that one. Awesome. So it works out perfect. So I've got half, half, half. Exactly what I wanted. Yay for small wins. Okay, so we've got that. Then I'm going to need a piece that is 2 inches wide. Now, do I have any spare pieces that are 2 inches wide? I'm sure I do. Okay, I do surprisingly have some 2 inch piece wide ones from when I was cutting it down. Lucky me. Okay, so these are like just by pure fluke 2 inches wide. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to cut it down to 8 1/4. Okay, 8 1/4. Just checking that that fits nicely there, and it does. And now I'm going to score at 1/2, 1, and 1 1/2. So they're the scores that I need. Alright, so let's burnish these guys down. Where's my thingy-diggy? Alright. I'm doing this accordion style one. And then the other one, it will be middle in, outer 2 out. 1, 2, and this is going to go onto our other piece. I'm just making sure it's going to fit, and it is. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit of a nip. Ah! This is why I don't have any of those nice clean mats that everyone else does. I don't know how they keep their work surfaces clean. That it's just not going to happen in my world, I'm afraid. It is real. I make a mess. I'm just going to trim that off. Alright. Okay, so we've got that. Now I'm going to put this where it would be on here. I don't want to glue it down just yet. It's going to come along. It's going to be like so. Something like that. Alright, some paper clips. Paper clip. And paper clip. I just don't want it moving as when I go in to do the next thing. I might even put, I'm just scared. I'm going to get a couple more paper clips. You're going to watch me like play with this. And okay, it is what it is. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm not doing this on camera because it's just going to, is I am going to cut in around this. I'm going to try and use this shape cutter thing. I've had very little experience using this, but I'm hoping it's going to work. because otherwise I might cry. Because I don't think my circle cutter, oh yeah, it will reach. But then I don't want to go through the cogs. But I might be able to the question is, what should I do? I don't want to mark this because I need it back. So no, I don't want to mark it. So I'm going to use this. Alright, I will be back after I have figured out how I'm going to cut around this guy. With the shape cutter, apparently you just hold it down and move along in the direction that you want to go. So you kind of like have it and move and follow the line. But because I am so unsure what I'm doing, I'm going to be very slow and I don't want to mess this up. So I will be back. Okay, so I've got the top layer cut out and I've just used that to run a pencil line on the black cardstock, and now I'm going to cut that out. Okay, so I've got this cut out, that cut out. Gonna leave this for a moment. That doesn't need to be anything. Put that aside. And let's think about the next part. I've got some of these guys here. I went scalloped. You can go whatever, like just normal circle shape or whatever shape you want. But what I was thinking is I'm going to make like a little pop-up layered kind of looking out the porthole 3D kind of thing. So I want some different layers. So I'm looking at something like that, and we're going to add some things to it. I have an idea. I have an idea. Okay. Now, some offcuts, conveniently, that I have are these, which will fit really well. So I'm going to, I think they're square. Who knows? 5 3/4 by not 5 3/4. So I'm going to make them 5 3/4 squared so that it makes finding the center easier, I think. Okay, so that still should fit in, theoretically, fit in there, and it does. Yay! Excellent. Okay. Alright, now, before we get too excited, we've got to cut designer paper to go with it. This is where I get sad. Okay. So if I look at this, to be honest, I can look at that, but anyway, I need it to be, so basically 5 inches across will cover me for underneath. Okay, so let's just go 5 1/4 to be on the safe side. I'm going to use this one, which is the back of here. I'm going to do 5 1/4. See, I'm getting braver. Five 1/4. And I'm going to go 5 1/4. Mainly because there's a little bit there that I might be able to use for something. You never know. Alright. Okay. Same rules apply. I'm going to what's it called? What are these things called? Paperclip. Paperclip these guys in. That one. Right, yeah. Part of me is like, I think I can make this one a little bit smaller. I'm going to do this one first, and then we can work from there. Because remember, we're half, you know, keeping as much paper as possible. We can find ways to use scraps. So, it's kind of the way I look at it. Alright. Oh, it'd help if I actually went over the centre bit there. Alright. Centre bit there. Okay. Now, you know, I'm a close enough is good enough kind of girl. So that looks close enough is kind of good enough. And get a bit of washi tape. Running that on my pants. Run that there. Another piece. Run it there. And I'm just going to run this through the die cut machine and I'll be back. Oakley dokley. So I've got that one done. So I've got that layer. So that looks like that. Now we need to look at the next layer, which theoretically doesn't need to be as big. So it could get away with being, you know, 4 1/2. Kind of thing will work. Okay, let's have a look. If I cut that, is that 4 1/2? Look at that, meant to be. So I'm gonna rescue that bit. Rescued that bit for the scraps. Like I said, not wasting anything. And then, I reckon we can rescue a little, but I like this little bit. I want to see a bit of that. So I'm just gonna, we'll go with it. Okay. We got that. Let's come here. Let's put this about center. But see, if I do that, that's not going to be there. So I want to bring it over a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit off this side. Rescue that bit. Okay. So I've got more chance of seeing some of that on the layer. That's it. That's what I want. Okay. It's getting a bit too far for my paper clippies. Where did the washi tape go? Yep. Like everything else I touch, just magically disappears. There it is. Right in front of me. Alright. Over there. Hold on. I don't think it's quite center. About there. There. And there. Alright, let's center this one up. Made the line a little bit bigger this time. So actually see what I'm doing. Alright, rub straight out anyway. Okay. That looks pretty good. Doesn't you know, it doesn't need to be perfect, says me. It's funny, depending on what I'm working on. Sometimes I'm an absolute perfectionist, and other ways I'm like, yeah, whatever. Alright, I'm gonna cut this and I'll be back. Okay, so what's really interesting is I have no idea what's in my head is going to work, but we're gonna roll with it. So we're kind of gonna layer it up like that, and it's going to be a bit more three-dimensional than this. Is the plans. So we've got that. So I guess I have to commit, don't I? Okay, just commit to it, Tony. Commit to it. Alright. Okay, so where is that piece? That one. Alright. Okay. We got this one. Let's ink ourselves up. Isn't it like cool? That's the colour that my stamp pad is. My ink pad. And that's the it's like it's such a cool colour. Alright. You just never know what you're quite going to get with it. Okay. So we got that. And round thing. Hopefully you guys like these process videos. Like I said, I'm just making it up as I go. As to, do I have a clue? No. But, you know, that's the fun part. You just never know what we're going to end up with. Could be magic, it could be a disaster. So I have a spare pad. Alright. Okay. And if it doesn't work, it's called, I'll throw it into the junk journal part that I'm going to make with all the scraps. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's, oh, this is the problem. Can't they do single-sided papers? Can't they give us the option? Like, I get double-sided papers for certain things, but... And I know you can actually tear these apart and make them thinner, but no, I'm not doing that. Okay. Alright. So I'm using a version of whatever Fabrifix acetone based glue. You get time, a little bit of wiggle room, and with stuff like this I need that wiggle room. Alright. Okay. Oh my gosh, did I actually get that first go? I think I did. Wowza. That's that is a first. Okay. Alright. So we've got that. Put that away for a second. I'm not going to ink these bits because obviously oceany. I just want them stuck there. Ugh, this is what I get for using... Okay, don't use paper clips. Note to self, don't use paper clips through your die machine. Lesson learned. Luckily, this isn't important parts of the wow. Hence why people use washi tape, hey? On that, I'm going to put a little bit of washi tape there just to restore the integrity for this. Just until, luckily it's all going to be hidden, but there we go. Alright, okay, so that will eventually come in underneath that. Okay, there we go, we're just going to have to cover that bit up, but that's okay, we will. Oh, why did I washi tape that down? I haven't even glued it. You're all yelling at me, aren't you? Yeah. You're all yelling at me. Okay. Okay. Note to self, don't do this again. Come again another day. So I'm going to use the acetone glue mostly on the outside because it's easier. And then I'm just going to come in with the art glitter glue and just kind of go along the edgy bits. Alright. There we go. Paperclip? What paperclip? Charitable? What charitable? Okay. Alright, we got that one. Let's repeat with this one. Except for this one I didn't actually use paper clips because I wasn't going to reach. In the long run it worked out better for me. Well, first time I've used today. It's a hot day here. That's what happens in Queensland, Australia when it's hot. It explodes. Yeah, I never have to worry about this whole it goes yucky in the cold, because that ain't gonna ever happen here. Right. There we go. Down it goes. I did look at that like precision gun tip thingy from Tonic or whatever it was, but yeah, that's again in Australia, no, just no. The price for it. Okay, so that's that one. That's that one. Looking pretty good. And then there's that one. And at the moment, it doesn't look too exciting, but it's going to get there. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this video here. Going to go get myself sorted for the next part of it, and come back then and like try and keep these videos under an hour, because otherwise you'll all kill me. No, you won't, but yeah. Alrighty, I'm going to go have a drink, think about this. I'll be back in the next one. Okay, so that was part one. Hopefully you follow along with me with this. Let me know if you are, or you like that I'm doing this. I don't know. Like I said, it's going to eventuate into something. If you've seen any of my other like kind of mixed media 3D kind of album projects, it hopefully will come into something that will be worthwhile. Okay, I'm going to go. I will see you in the next one. As always, remember, be kind, be strong, be a warrior. See you later. Bye.